No, I don't know what people might have missed. It seems like they might have missed the whole first part of that, Bill.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, um,
I'll be happy to repeat like we are just going back from the break.
yes. As if we're going back to the
Okay.
break, you were talking about how you were doing political stand up and how that was evolving into the other things that you were doing now. I think is where we're at.
Right. So I had moved to Salt Lake City and I had my own comedy club there and produced comedy shows for 3 years. And then in 1996, November of '96, I moved back to Los Angeles and I did not want to have to go through the whole jumping through hoops of getting in at the Improv again or getting in at the Comedy Store. So I started producing my own show called The Free Speech Show. And the premise of the Free Speech Show is I would choose a variety of topics, and I would usually choose enough topics for once a week for 2 months in advance, and send out those topics to performers who I wanted to invite to participate in the Free Speech Show. And some of the topics we would do is, can I trust my doctor? Do I need a gun? What should Hillary do? What's wrong with Republicans? How to improve education? If I ruled the world? A variety of political, non-political, pop culture things, so that a comedian who would look over the list of topics could choose, well, I'd like to talk about this, and it wouldn't always be political, or you had to be some kind of a news junkie to be able to have your point of view and talk intelligently about the topic. So the show became very popular among comics, and we were getting standing room only every Thursday night. This was in '97 and '98. And we shot the TV pilot, and it never sold. And in '99, I married my wife Sandy, and we had a son 10 months later. And I took a couple of years away from stand-up comedy, and I started doing my show on talk radio for 2 hours a day. First on KPLS out of Orange County, and second on KNBC. And we were on the air during the period that, we came on the air 2 weeks before we started bombing Iraq in 1993. And then we were on the air all the way through the failed presidential campaign of John Kerry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the most fun I've ever had in show business, being on the radio 2 hours a day doing new material and talking to my friends and just trading ideas and keeping up with what was going on in the world. So I really relate to your love of radio.
Yes.
But what happened after 2 years, economically, it was not feasible for me to keep doing it. And I realized that you could have a genius 2 hours on the radio, and it was disappeared into the ether, and it was no longer relevant or accessible after that day, really. And so I started doing the Free Speech Show in my living room using 4 cameras and a video switcher and putting those shows online. And if you want to check them out, a lot of them are on Blip TV, and a lot of them are on YouTube. And you can look up Free Speech Show with Bill Bronner and find a lot of those. And a lot of them are linked to my website, ComedyNation.net. I also own ComedyNation.com, but we're using that to promote the new show that I'm producing with John Fugelsang as the host. And we're taking the format of the Free Speech Show, which is a topic, and 6 comics all doing a monologue on that topic and then a panel discussion. And we're calling that Comedy Nation with John Fugelsang. And we have 5 shows in the can. All of them, I could not have been more pleased with the quality of the content or how fun they are. And wow, it's not. I have a sizzle reel on my Facebook page, but I don't have it anywhere else. But anyhow, so that's what I'm pursuing right now is we're going to start doing Comedy Nation on a weekly basis, not videotaped at the beginning in New York City, because John is living in New York and he's eager to get exposure for the format and get York City. So I believe in March we're going to start doing Comedy Nation in New York City on a weekly basis. And then our good friend Rick Overton just called me last night, and he has one night a month at the Improv Olympic on Hollywood Boulevard that he's been given to produce a show. And he's asked me to do Comedy Nation and be the host of it at the Improv Olympic. It's good. Our first show is going to be Friday, the 21st of February at 10 p.m. And Rick will be one of the guests, but I will be the host.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really good news. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but it looks like I'm going to be going back to Los Angeles for 4 or 5 months.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yes, so I would love to come on one of your shows again. I'm actually it looks like maybe in a couple of weeks. One of the reasons why, well, the main reason why I'm going to go down there is there's a new marijuana initiative that you know Dejay Kuti from the Patient Advocacy Network.
Right.
It's there's a new initiative on the ballot. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. It's the California the Marijuana Control Legislation and Revenue Act. And I'm going to go down and help do signature gathering and perhaps even be one of the signature coordinators. Because I have,
fantastic.
yeah, and so I'll be staying with DJ in Hollywood, and be able to be home for a while, and I'm hoping to, hit some of the comedy mic scenes and stuff like that. One of my focuses with doing this, the Freedom of Joy show on Revolution Radio. Also, I am working to do a one-woman show with underneath that title as well. And I know that there's huh?
I definitely think you should. I think that you have all the stories and point of view and passion you would need to do one of those shows.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of Rick Overton, Freedom of Joyce was actually a name that he gave me. you know, he was like, you should do something with that. I don't know, it's a book or a one woman show or there's something there. So for the longest time, I had it as my email and also it's my Skype name and eventually I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. So I put a Facebook page out there on it in response to starting my own media around it, and then I did get the invitation to join Revolution Radio, and so I'm excited about that. And I'm like, okay, now I'm on to it, because the goal would be to have a radio show feed into the live show, and I'm interested in getting in and taking it to maybe the Edinburgh festivals and some of the French festivals that allow for it to be like a one woman show as opposed to just doing a stand up kind of thing.
Right.
I'm frustrated a little bit in some of the bars and the clubs and things like that because you have to. It just seems that the audiences are not geared towards listening to things that are that have information in them or that aren't about lowbrow. You have to go so low in order to grab their attention to take them to this to the next level of getting any type of like focus of what I really want to talk about. And I thought that if I took it and put it into maybe even more of a theater situation, or maybe some a comedy rooms or whatever, took it out of that that category, that I might have some more traction on what I really want to do. I had an experience recently where I was performing in Tacoma. And I know this sounds terrible, but I finally said, what do I have to do? Do I have to show my breasts to get you to listen to me? And the crowd was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I digressed into a horrible state, and actually did that. And then and then they were able to listen to a few jokes. I mean, a couple premises that I really wanted to get out there. And then I got in trouble though, because even though I was in the state of Washington where marijuana is legal, apparently you need a permit to show your breasts.
Oh yeah, you can't serve liquor and have a bare nipple in the same room usually.
Right, right. So I got a little bit in trouble, a slap on the hand, and or
But you know what? Isn't there some kind of artistic integrity? I mean, like the musical Hair, they could dance naked on stage because it was part of the play.
Right. Well, I mean,
You
maybe with
know,
Freedom of Joyce, it'll be different because it'll be, a play more as opposed to that I'm working in a bar. Basically, there to help them, sell alcohol to their clients. Um,
right,
but
right.
anyway, enough about me. But I want to get back to where can our listeners find you on Comedy Nation?
But you know what? If they go to comedynation.net, they will find all of my old archives, or at least most of my old archives, including we did the 15th anniversary show and the 10th anniversary show are both on YouTube, I believe. The Free Speech show with Bill Bronner, 10th anniversary and 15th anniversary are both on YouTube. And Facebook, I don't think there's another Bill Bronner on Facebook, but there might be. And or if you Google me, I'm the Bill Bronner. I'm almost other than Dr. Bronner soaps. I'm the first Bronner usually that comes up.
Oh,
So,
that's good to know
but
because
yeah,
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny. I never really made that association between Bronner and Dr. Bronner soaps with your last name, but it is the same. Is there any relation at all?
not that I've been able to prove. I'd like to claim my part of the Bronner soap fortune, but no, it's so far not. I think it would be easier to prove that I was a Native American.
Well, I know now that the Bronner, I saw him at the Seattle Hemp Fest this last year. He was speaking, and they're very pro labeling GMOs. His organization is creating quite a bit of awareness and seems to be quite involved with the legislature that they're working on implementing here in Washington. Um, and that's a subject matter that I wanted to bring up. I know that back when in California, before I left to move to Washington, I was gathering signatures for that.
Right.
To have the label it. What astounded me was here you are, I'm in front of a Trader Joe's or whatever, and some people they would say things like, well, I really don't care, or there's not a problem with that, or they didn't even know what I was talking about. And this was a couple of years ago. Now, I think our public is becoming more educated about genetically modified foods. But what are your thoughts on that, Bill?
Well, I'm trying to avoid genetically modified foods, but it's almost impossible. And I'm trying not to be a nut about it. But on the other hand, I'm definitely concerned. I definitely think that, I mean, they have to put all that other stuff, BHT on the label and everything else. Why couldn't they just put GMO? It's not like it would cost them any money to just let the consumer be informed. And I think that that's the minimum that we should be entitled to. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that a lot of the alternative, some people might even think fringe thinking is concerned about. Like, I'm not concerned about chemtrails because I feel like if they're damaging anyone, they're damaging everyone.
We'll be right back
So,
with more Bill Bronner and chemtrails and GMOs. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
happens to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. So by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look! It's just a flesh wound. I don't believe I'm to display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity. I'll do you for that. What? Come here. What are you going to do? Bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us. Here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
How dare you, sir? How dare you? No, how dare you? No, how dare you? How dare you? No, Mike, how dare you? You dare to dare me? How dare you? How dare me when how dare you? You big idiot.
Hello all, thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. We are the #1 public access, commercial-free internet talk radio station on the web, with between 12 and 16 hours of live programming per day, bringing you news, politics, entertainment, and just plain human interactive talks with our extremely informative and successful nightly open caller roundtables. And how do we do this? Through the support of volunteers and donations from good listeners like you. So if you're digging what you hear, and we are bringing you an entertaining and informative service, please visit our site support page and donate to the cause. Keep us live, keep us kicking, help us bring you the talk. We are already here. Help keep us here. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Revolution Radio!
Enjoy your extra big-ass fries.
You didn't give me no fries. I got an empty box.
Would you like another? Extra big-ass fries.
I said I didn't get any.
Thank you. Your account has been charged. Your balance is 0. Please come back when you can afford to make a purchase.
No.
I'm sorry you're
Come
having trouble.
on. My kids are starving.
Thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we believe in freedom of ideas, freedom of speech, but above all, we believe in freedom of existence through self-reliance. This station is 100% listener supported, and as a fundraising promotion, I have a kick-ass free gift for a $100 donation. 35,000 seeds. 25 years in the freezer. Long-term storable, 54 different varieties. So if food prices go crazy, it's the fan, or if you just want to save tons of money every year by creating your own food like I do, grab our seed pack special. Just look for the banner on the homepage at freedomslips.com. Don't be a statistic. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. We need, as humans, to start taking care of ourselves and not depending on the megacorps to provide unhealthy, nasty food. Included in this package is also a DVD with 900 survival and off-grid living documents and the offline home canning, how to do everything website, all on the DVD. So when you're growing all that food, you know how to can it, store it, preserve it, etc. with all these documents. So thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I hope that you will pick up this package and start learning to be free. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, where information never sleeps and freedom is one seed that needs to be planted.
What are we doing live? This goes in the turn.
Revolution Radio. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Okay, and we're back with the with Freedom of Joyce on Revolution Radio, and again, we are listener supported. This is Revolution Radio, the People's Radio, and please do give us a donation on our website. And again, thank you for donating. I'm actually with Bill Bronner from Comedy Nation, and we were having a discussion about GMOs, and we left off at GMOs and chemtrails. So, and you were talking about how it's hard to really buy anything that doesn't have it in there, and then well, anyways, we can pick it up from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to be concerned about a lot of things. Like I'm very concerned about pharmaceuticals and the fact that we've become a country that's addicted to drugs, and so many of them could be replaced by use of marijuana or through changes in diet and those kind of things that I have a real fear that medicine has really become more about trying to make money than trying to make sure that you have a long and healthy life.
Yes,
but
I'm with you on that.
And so I'm concerned about GMOs, and I'm also concerned about things like these vaccinations. I know that mainstream media and mainstream medicine thinks that vaccinations are safe, but there's thousands of cases where children have had long-term illnesses caused by a bad reaction to a vaccination.
Yes, including skin conditions. There is I've been looking at a a product to buy or get involved with, and it's called Secret. It's SEACRET, and it's these different products. There, it's from the salt from the Dead Sea, and things like that. Which the Dead Sea's always been known for being healing and beautifying and all that kind of stuff. And one of the creams that they are giving for people, and there are certain creams that are helping people with certain skin conditions. And one of the skin conditions or examples that they used was from vaccinations, from a kid that had a reaction from a vaccination.
Right.
So it's getting really frightening, and you are you have a granddaughter, so you're a grandparent now. How
I
is
know, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
I know
Really.
she's adorable.
You know what? I call her the love of my 60s. She's so smart and so funny and so cute. I live for the moments that I get to spend with her, really. And and I just turned 62 a week ago. So
Happy birthday.
that and early Social Security are the two greatest joys of getting old. Because now I'm on the dole, $856 a month, rolling in.
Well,
So,
congratulations.
You know what? It's it's a certain amount of peace of mind that you're at least going to be able to buy your candy bars and stuff.
Right.
So maybe keep the cell phone. But it's getting old is not that great. But as you were talking about, and what we were talking about earlier, is like I can't watch scripted TV anymore, and I'm getting burned out on almost everything. Like I'm seeing through it, and now I'm starting to understand where people who are in their late 80s just they're ready to die. They go, it's all bull, and go ahead and take me because it's not getting better.
Yeah. I agree with you on the scripted TV, and again, I mentioned it, and it's good to see that you agree with me. That's the reason why I really enjoy doing alternative media, like alternative radio, and doing my own videos, my own YouTubes, or getting and really honestly, I spend more time listening to alternative shows. I listen to other people's podcasts and radio broadcasts and their Ustreams and media, because I feel that it's more interesting to me. I feel like there's more truth coming out about it, and some of the guests that they have. Like I'm interested in understanding what's going on with chemtrails. I'm interested in knowing about vaccinations. I'm interested in listening to experts or people that might have more knowledge than I do about what might really be taking place. You don't see, obviously the video that I sent to you today from the Liberty Beacon that had the Edward Snowden interview that was done in Germany. We're not seeing that in our mainstream television. And that bothers me. One of the reasons why, how I participated when I was in the Occupy movement, or anything that has to do with the revolution, I know that the mainstream media is not saying what the truth is. They're not covering what's really going on. They're only taking information. They're only slanting it to their own agenda, and they're vicious with it. They will be insulting. They will put down the people that are representing the causes that they are representing, and and they do it over and over again in the papers and on television. And then you look at the programming and you're just like, oh God, I'm so bored. And then it comes down to the fact, like, I mean, here we are, we're artists, we're entertainers, we're, like, obviously, you're a comedian that is, more about just saying jokes, but you're actually wanting to say something to people. You're wanting to give information, and even my feeling is like when I put a thought or an idea out there, I'm not saying I know it. I'm not saying my way is the only way, but at least it's a slant to give further thought and create an open dialogue of discovering like what the truth might be. So I feel a little bit of a dilemma. I talked to some of my friends that are still, having agents, and not that I don't want an agent, but, are on that grind of like, hey, I can't get this, I can't get that, I can't do this, I can't get that. They're not taking me here or whatever. And you just listen to it. And to me, it's like almost like white noise. I'm like, well, really? Like, why do you want to be in that club, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that part of the problem with all the access to creating media, though, is trying to sort what's quality and what's just white noise out there. And like I posted this on Facebook as part of the problems of having a blog now or a podcast is after I die, then my kids or my grandkids are going to be going, well, what should we do with Grandpa's podcast? Like where's that gonna live? Because it's just gonna be junk that means nothing to anybody 50 years from now, probably. But I have a hard time. Just everything seems like a podcast to me, almost. I mean, to watch Chris Matthews on MSNBC, it almost seems like a podcast because there's no real journalism. There's just talking heads with opinions, almost.
Yes.
And journalism, like during the Occupy movement, or even during the war with Iraq, the American press wasn't critical of the Bush administration and their demands to go to war with Iraq. They were just like regurgitating whatever the government was feeding them in their propaganda.
Yes.
And so there's no longer really a culture of investigative, independent journalism because those people don't make money, evidently.
No, it doesn't seem like journalism anymore, and I don't know, it's frustrating to me, and their personalities irritate me too. I don't know about you, but I'm just like, ugh, I mean, and there's this sort of like pompousness, like I'm on TV and I'm spewing my attitude that I'm so righteous and having, and I'm reading this information off of a teleprompter, and I and then they'll have a subject matter, and then they'll like take for example like the subject matter of marijuana legalization. President Obama will come out and say how he's gone more soft for us, saying, yes, I think we need to decriminalize it, blah, 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 blah. By the way, I find it interesting that it comes on the heels of the fact that Colorado has $1 million day. I mean, once people see, oh,
Right.
wow, there's money here, there's a lot of money here, oh, let's give them a bank account. Eric Holden comes out like, oh, let's go ahead and give them a bank account. We can't have all that cash around there, because they also want to cash in on it. It's almost like the cat's out of the bag, and there's no other
Well, I
choice.
mean, the emperor obviously wears no clothes because everybody now there's enough people who've had relatives who have suffered from cancer and have benefited from using marijuana, or people who have relatives with muscular dystrophy or cerebral palsy, or who any number of things that marijuana helps alleviate the symptoms. And so the whole taboo about marijuana is gone the way of the whole taboo about gay marriage. Is like, come on, don't try to pull the wool over my eyes that somehow I'm in the land of the free and the home of the brave, but I don't have the freedom to smoke marijuana or to marry the person that I love. It's in the modern world there should be no room for that kind of stuff.
Yes. I agree with you on that. And, a lot of people feel that, and again, I've always compared the marijuana issue with gay marriage. It seemed like those were like, the platforms were kind of neck and neck. There's also a coming out kind of. I mean, like you come out for being gay. You also you're in the closet for smoking cannabis because if you do, then to whatever degree. I mean, if you say like I like to smoke it once in a while because to me it's like having a glass of wine, and it's my preference of choice, and I feel that it's doing less damage to my body. You're automatically a pothead. You're automatically a lazy bum that sits on the couch, and you have a pith load of stereotypes that you can't even get past in some ways. I mean, like once I started to stand up for the cause publicly, the insults never stop. The perceptions of how people, who they think you are now, and what they think you're about. They're above you. They're better than you. They're more
But
together
that
than
is
you are.
all changing just as quickly as the stigma about being gay.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. I had an interesting experience. Recently, I graduated from the University of Tennessee School of Law in 1981. And in December, I got a call from the head of alumni affairs from the law school saying the dean of the law school and I are coming to Los Angeles and we'd like to meet with you. And so I said, yeah, I'll be happy to meet with you. I hope you know that I'm not a lawyer, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I ended up meeting them for like an hour and a half at the W Hotel. And I had sent them the sizzle reel for Comedy Nation. And we sat down and had this talk. And, we talked about show business. We talked about problems with the inaccessibility of lawyers to the common man. Essentially now, unless there's $1 million involved or more, you can't really afford to have a lawyer to help you resolve that dispute. Unless there's an insurance policy or something that's paying your legal bills. But and we talked about the marijuana movement, and even in Tennessee, there's a new open-mindedness about marijuana, and as like it seems to me like it must have been in the 30s at the end of Prohibition, where everybody that wanted a drink was getting a drink. Everybody that knew anybody, knew somebody that was drinking. And that's the way marijuana is now. Is if you want marijuana in almost any state of the union, you don't have to like go undercover. You can pretty much find it. And people don't think you're a druggie anymore.
Okay, well, that that's good to hear. It's hard for me to see sometimes, Bill, because it's funny. Since I left Los Angeles for a while, I moved up to the Washington area, and Oregon. I took some jobs in between, getting everything going. And
Right.
man, did I get persecuted for it. I had quite a few. I had one incident in one job where in the middle of my interview, first I think you're gonna. This is kind of interesting. The woman said, she goes, well, it got down to where she says, well, if you want to work here, call me on Monday, and if you still want the job, then basically I would have the job, is what it sounded like. And she goes,
Right.
oh, by the way, what is your show about? And I said, oh, well, it's called Hollywood Hemper's Hour, and I'm about like legalization for medical marijuana and recreational marijuana. And she goes, oh, well, we don't support that cause. We're in the beer business. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she goes, and my husband is a pagan who listens to Rush Limbaugh. And I'm like, oh. I was like, wow, I had never even heard that description before. I'm like, I gotta see this man, and then I kind of I felt like I intellectually counter argued her claim. She goes, well,
Did you say I guess you support OxyContin rather than marijuana then, huh?
right. Well, yeah, maybe I just should have. I should have been like that. I mean, I can't. She goes, well, the people who represent it they look just like they just don't look good, and they look all funky, and they just look like I don't know, like and I go, well, you know what? I agree with you. Some of them, do look like they don't. They've got. I guess they're wearing tie-dyed. I don't know. I don't know what you want to, say. I go, but that's why I'm doing it, because I'm wanting to help change that image, because there's a lot of us who, not everybody, is wearing a green hat and puffing on a big huge joint and going, oh, legalize it. And like not all of us are, like that. We're not, and so they ended up hiring me like maybe 6 weeks later. I think they because apparently they couldn't hold their employees very well, so they would like lose one and lose one and lose one. And they go, I think all we have left is the marijuana girl. Let's call her up. And I go, what?
What kind of job was that?
I was serving beer. They had their own beer brewery, and I had to sign a document. Get this, Bill. I had to sign a document saying that I would not talk about my activism or my show or anything like that with any of the customers. I didn't have to sign it, but I mean, in order to work there and I needed money, I signed it.
Right.
And it was like Big Brother there. It was so weird. They had cameras everywhere in the restaurant, and then they go and people would go, oh, you're a comedian? I go, yeah. And they go, where can we find you at? And I go, well, you can Google me. And I said, but I have to say that there might be some things that you're going to find online that I'm not allowed to discuss in the workplace. And then apparently they saw that on camera, and that got me in trouble.
Just saying that?
Yes.
A disclaimer of how to. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, it was really weird. I didn't last there long, Bill. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, okay, I was supposed to work like for 3 months, but then the last like 3 weeks, because it was only like a summer thing, because it's a tourist area coming through there. It's from Portland to the camping areas and stuff like that. And so yeah,
Right.
I pretty much the last 3 weeks we parted ways. Yeah, it was like Big Brother in for minimum wage. It's like if I have to like deal with Big Brother, don't pay me more for that, please.
I know. There should be certain licenses to be yourself when you're working for minimum wage.
Right.
You know what? I'm working for minimum wage because I'm true to my individuality.
Yeah.
And, it's bad when you make minimum wage and you have to wear a uniform.
Right. Well, uniforms, name tags, all of it.
Right.
I've always resisted it for some reason. That's why. I guess that's why I'm on Revolution Radio, right? And you're doing the free speech
Well,
show. And
I've been to restaurants recently where there was a very progressive management, and people were allowed to wear stuff from their own wardrobe as long as it wasn't holy or dirty, you
yeah,
know. And I like that. I like the idea to know that, you know what, maybe my waiter isn't stuck being a waiter the rest of their life. Maybe they're trying to get through grad school or write a book or a screenplay or be a musician or, you know, that's what I want my waiters to be doing, they have another life where they're still excited about what's going on rather than if I want to have a soft drink.
yes. I agree with you, and that's kind of how it is in Los Angeles. I mean, it seems like everybody who has. At one time, like paramedics came to help Janet when I was taking care of her, and that she was like, well, anyways, you know how Janet is, but
Yeah.
and the paramedics would show up, and the paramedics would go, oh, we're actually filmmakers. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to hear this. Like, only in LA, is a job like that. Oh, we're in show business. No, stop it. You're a paramedic. I
Yeah,
don't trust you now.
I had a friend who was summarizing
Oh, you know what? We are out of time here. Unfortunately, Bill. Thank you so much for doing the show. And right before we go, where is it websites?
Go to comedynation.net.
Great.
And you can find me there. Hey, thanks. I had a lot of fun, Terry, and great luck with the Freedom of Joyce show.
Thank you,
Looking
Bill.
forward to seeing you in LA.
Me too. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to the NutriMedical Report, and